Hello and welcome to my 250 subscriber special Q&A. Today we're going to be answering all the burning questions that you, my viewers, have submitted to me in my Discord server, link down below. Starting off, everyone asked, what's your favorite cheese? Probably not one particular cheese. Specifically, my family, we have a good cob loaf where it's a bit of a combination of cheeses like Philadelphia cream cheese, mozzarella, etc. So if I would pick one, probably would be that.
Do you prefer drinking from a bottle or glass?
It depends. I mean, chugging a big glass of water, that's always a nice experience, but like the versatility of a bottle of water is always good. Like not specifically like a plastic bottle of water, like a bottle of water filled up myself is always useful to have. Next up, Ducat asks,
who is your favorite mod?
The one that moderates. It's the one that asks the question. Quite similar to a previous question, Rebel asks,
filtered water or bottled water?
Usually filtered water, because bottled water is just pretty much a waste of money.
What is your favorite car manufacturer?
I'd probably have to say Nissan, considering my favorite car is a Nissan, but Daihatsu and Mazda are also good as well because they make some nice small cars.
Tier list of the alphabet?
Alphabet tier list, you say? Well, first of all, probably going to put X in F. It's not useful, because either it's a Z or it's a combination of a KC sound with an S at the end. So it's just like, what's the point of it when it can be used, it can be replicated by this combination of letters here? You're just stealing jobs, that's what you're doing. Q, it's just a confusing letter. We'll probably put it in D tier. Z is useless. Bit useless. Like, it has its uses, but also no. It's hard. O's quite versatile, it's quite useful. We'll put it in A. A will put in B. B will put in C. D will put in... No, I'm trying to be funny here, but... no, A will put in B. It's just a bit of an annoying letter. And then B's a bit C tier, like, it's just an average letter. There's nothing really special about it. It's up there with O. It's got its uses, but it's not better than O, but it's not worse than O. J's a weird one. We'll put it in B, but yeah. S will probably put in A. W is S tier for obvious reasons, and then L's F tier for obvious reasons. Y will probably, like, Y is very underutilized, but it's still a good letter. Like in English it's a B tier, in Welsh it's an A tier, so we'll put it at the top of B tier. And for D's a bit of a C tier. It's alongside B, it's just a bit mid. There's nothing, it's not the best. E's quite funny. P, it's not the most useful. Put it in B tier, but yeah. V, it's alongside Q. It's a bit useless, but yeah. T will probably put in C tier. U, yeah, put it B tier. R, we'll put it B tier, but yeah. N, put C tier. M, just, yeah, I don't know. And then F, it's B tier. C is also B tier. Above R though. Same with K. G, instant win. and H is just annoying. So a lot of B tiers. But yeah, overall, we can see just X and Z, they're not really useful, and then L, well, has to take the L, go to F tier, W has to take the win, go to top of S tier. It's just the rules.
If you could only ever own one car model, what would it be?
Depends on what you mean, because, see, I'd select Nissan Pulsar. What that means is that I would then get access to a certain generation of Alfa Romeo. I don't remember what model Alfa Romeo it was, but I also get access to a certain generation of Holden Barina as well, and then I would also get access to the entire Nissan NX lineup as well, alongside the Nissan Suru, the Nissan Primera, and those sort of cars, because they're all pretty much the same thing. So just by picking one model, I do get access to quite a lot of models, if it's the way I think it works.
What is your favorite breakfast?
I mean, a good set of pancakes is always nice. I mean, throw in some bacon and maybe something else and pretty much you're set. But yeah, so that's probably my favorite. Second favorite would probably be like an English breakfast or something like that.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon would probably be Eevee, and then as for favorite evolution, would probably be Sylveon, as ever since Pokemon Y, I've had a level 100 Sylveon I've brought into every future game since, and that was my first Pokemon I ever got to level 100. That's why arguably it's one of my favorite Pokemon. But I've always loved the Eevee lineup, pretty much.
What is your favorite non-racing game? So no Beam or Automation.
Favorite non-racing game? Well, there's quite a lot of choices for that. Like, I don't think I could pick one particular game, but the games I usually go to are like Binding of Isaac, Fallout 4, Minecraft. Yes, I play Roblox. Deal with it. Probably some other things as well I can't quite think of at the moment. Let's check what Steam yells at me. I mean, technically it is a racing game, but Euro Truck Simulator is fun. But I'm not going to include that as it's... the question I'm guessing is more car-related games. Yeah, that's about it for non-car games. So just Minecraft, Roblox, Fallout 4, Binding of Isaac, those sort of things. Those are quite enjoyable. Any sort of tycoon game as well. That's pretty much the main thing I play on Roblox, if you're wondering. So yeah, those sort of games.
What is your favorite game franchise?
Favorite game franchise? Probably Fallout when it's done well. Like, overall I do like all the Fallout games. Just some of them, they're just not executed well. Particularly Fallout 76, it had so much potential, but it's just not done perfectly. I am excited for Fallout 3's remake though. That should be good. Hopefully it will lead to a remake of Fallout New Vegas. But yeah, in terms of just regular games, probably it would be the Fallout franchise. But otherwise, I'd probably go with the F1 franchise, as I do own most of the games for it, so yeah.
What car would you want a new version to be made of or brought back from the dead?
Well, obviously it's got to be the Nissan Pulsar, so I'm going to say the Nissan Pulsar. It's something that they can easily do. They just need to make a right-hand drive version of the Nissan Altima, or whatever it's called in America. The Nissan Sentra, that's right. Yeah, they just need to make a right-hand drive version of it, and you're set. Like, it's the same car, just, come on, Nissan, do your thing. Next up, Gear asks, which Disney prince and princess do you think would make the best spies? This is an unexpected question. Allow me to Google just to remind me of who there is, because I don't remember off the top of my head for probably obvious reasons. As for official princes, probably Flynn Rider from Tangled. I don't know why, that's just one that sticks out to me. And then for princesses, I'd probably go Mulan. Would you rather spend 24 hours with pasta in your hair or chicken strips in your shoes? I don't know what I would prefer more, if it would be pasta in my hair or pasta as my hair, because I think both would be funny. Probably not chicken strips in my shoes, just because that seems uncomfortable, and also not as funny.
When are we gonna get an automotive company smash or pass video?
I find it funny how you say when and not if, because that implies that you know that I already wanted to do that sort of video. The answer is eventually. Who knows? If someone creates a list for me, then it will happen.
From Gear-Driven Camp. What about tier lists of mods, tier and hero server, Ruby server, and filament server?
Tier list, you say? Okay. Me on my server, we're probably gonna go S tier because I'm the owner. I'm gonna be a bit biased. I'm no longer moderator on Rue's server or Phil's server, so definitely gonna have to give myself an F tier there. Phil on his own server, not that he moderates anywhere else. Definitely D tier because like he could be better. Yeah, nothing more to say there really. We're going to need a new tier for you. Get Z tier. Terabyte's quite good. B tier. Jordan, both Rue and Phil's server, gonna give a B. Ed's definitely A tier alongside Boudini. Ducat on my server, S tier. Rue's server, A tier. I mean, S tier is just because I'm biased, to be honest, about my server. And then Rue on his server is S tier. On my server, probably A tier, but that's just because he doesn't do moderation really, which is fine. He just has the role because I trust him. E's. I mean, if I could create a tier just for him, just because it would be funny. But for actual standings, not D tier. No, we'll put B tier. Like, he's definitely ahead of Ekai. Ekai can be quite a bit immature at times. Especially when he does need to have a maturity about him during some of those times, so that's why he's going to go into C tier, but for the most part he's usually good, which is why he's not been dropped to a D tier. Fonny, he's not really active anymore, so he's going to get a C tier just for inactivity, as well as didn't do much. At least that I've noticed. Like, when I say they don't do much, at least I don't know what they have done. So I'm going to put him in C tier just because I don't know. Jamie, they are on both Rue's server and my server. They don't do anything on my server, so I've only got them here once. And so for Rue's server, we'll put them in B tier. Groundhog, we're gonna put her in D tier. Like they're good, but like, they're good at what they do. They've got a lot of experience in doing so. But to me, like, towards me, they can be a bit condescending and a bit rude. So would I make them admin? Probably not. Like, from a trust point of view, yes. Like, absolutely. They wouldn't do a single thing wrong with that sort of power. But just from a way they act, the way they do things, probably not. Or at least a lower admin, not like full-blown admin. Then Mort sort of, like, Mort has his own real-life issues to deal with, so I can't judge him based on anything like that, really. So we'll put him top of D tier, because he doesn't have any, like, I don't have any issues with his moderating. or really him as a person, as he does have, like, he's dealing with a lot, so we will put him top of D tier, because Phil doesn't have any excuses, really. De Hellerman doesn't really do anything, and has not been auto-active recently. So if he's got something that he's dealing with in real life, I hope he's doing okay. But yeah, we'll put him bottom of D tier just because doesn't. We'll put him C tier. Why not? Bottom of C tier. Aiki, she's mod in, admin in Rue server. So I think we'll put her bottom of B tier. Like, I don't know why am I putting her so low? I'm not entirely sure. Because, like, I mean, pretty top of B tier then. And then Mudge doesn't do anything. Mudge is not active. And has not been for quite some time, I believe. But it's someone that Phil trusts, and so that's why they're a mod. But yeah, so they're down in F tier. So this is the tier list. People are 100% going to disagree with me, and well, that's the point of a tier list, really. I don't know if I'm able to share tier lists at all. I mean, I know there's these buttons here, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't know how you email that. Yeah, so that's the tier list.
What is your favorite racing series?
Favorite racing series? I'd probably, assuming it's real life and not like racing game series, F1. It's the one I've watched the most of, pretty much the only one I watch. I mean, occasionally I watch V8 Supercars, but not really something I'm interested in. But yeah, definitely F1, and that's about it.
How has your day been?
My day's been good, nothing really wrong with it at all. Hope everyone else's day's been good. Nothing of note has happened.
Are we your little Pogchamp?
Fine, I guess you are my little Pogchamp. Come here.
Two of the same question here. Ducat asks,
What made you want to start YouTube?
and Ginger Socks also asks,
What made you start doing YouTube videos?
I mean, overall, I don't really know, to be honest. I started uploading videos back in, what was it, 2019? Let me check real quick. March of 2018, a little while ago. My current form of content. So I like to think that my content has gone through different seasons, sort of like how the way NerdCube describes it. Whenever they do basically a refresh of the channel. My first videos, the ones where I didn't do any thumbnail whatsoever, they were pretty much no editing. That's season 1, and then when I got into thumbnails, that's season 2, mainly Minecraft stuff, and then you get to the point where I did my first Fortnite video. That would be season 3, that's the start of 2020, well, halfway through 2020 actually. So that's like season 3 all the way up until, pretty much until I started doing Roblox again, with Your Bizarre Adventure. That's sort of season 4, that's like the lost season. And then with Creating a Lobster, that's sort of the resurgence, where content starts to be getting to where I like it. Then yeah, you've got from Creating a Lobster in Spore all the way up until probably just after the McLaren 4-4, and then we get into where we currently are today with the 90s USDM Japanese Ute, the MP4/4 rival, Johnson Valley Rally, etc., all the way up until now. That's where we're currently at. But yeah, overall, reason I wanted to start YouTube is I just wanted to have fun, pretty much. Just upload whatever I wanted. Not really at the start was there any thought into the quality of the video at all, but yeah, that's pretty much the only answer I can give. I can't really think of any other answer, to be honest. Another question that no one has recorded for me is, what is your favorite car manufacturer logo and parts manufacturer logo? What? Favorite car, obviously the Nissan Pulsar. I'm guessing, from what I'm reading in the written form, I'm assuming this is meant to be commas but there isn't any. Manufacturer logo? Not really sure, to be honest. There's not really, yeah, I don't know, I mean, they've sort of all become a bit bland, a bit boring at this point. I can't necessarily think of, like, a historical logo that specifically speaks to me. Like, the crossover between Datsun and Nissan, that logo looks nice, but, yeah, I don't really have an answer for that part. And then parts manufacturer logo, I don't really know anything about parts manufacturers, so I'm gonna have no answer for that, sadly.
Mopar or no car?
I mean, it depends, because that would involve driving a Dodge, and from what I've heard, not entirely the greatest. Usually not really the greatest of cars came out of Mopar. So I would probably go no car, but who knows? Maybe there's one Mopar that I like.
What is the best sounding engine configuration in your opinion?
Best sounding engine configuration, in my opinion. That's a hard one. Like, the F1 V10s and V8s all sound amazing, but for a road car, that's very tricky. Like, i5s sound good, but this is not necessarily from a sound point of view, but personally I'm partial to an inline 3, just because they're more fuel efficient typically, as well as they're just a bit of a quirky little engine. So probably gonna say inline 5 just for road cars. Sound in general, probably either nice meaty inline 4, nice meaty V8, or the F1 V10s and V8s. Specifically the high revving ones for the F1 engines. But yeah, that's probably what I'd say is the best sounding in my opinion.
From gear-driven cams?
I mean, gear-driven cams are good. Like, they're definitely a cool thing, but I prefer chain-driven. But gear-driven cams definitely have their uses, and then belt-driven is just obsolete at this point, and it should just be changed over to chained or geared. Yeah, I'd probably pick chained over geared, but geared is not a bad option.
Are you a furry? Why or why not? If so, what is your Fursona?
Good question. Who knows? We may never know.
Are you a part of the Alphabet Mafia?
Kind of slightly.
What kind of music do you enjoy? Are you super loyal to any artists or bands?
According to my Spotify pie chart, it seems to be rock, which does make sense. And as for any bands that I'm super loyal to, not really. The bands I tend to listen to rock-wise are Daft Punk, Yes, REO Speedwagon, Cheap Trick, Billy Joel, Foo Fighters, Duran Duran, The Police, and Elton John, as well as there's probably others if I continue looking through this pie chart. It appears to be that's it, really.
What is the most underrated car in your opinion?
Most underrated car? It's a good question. See, like, I could very well say the Nissan Pulsar, but I think it's very fairly rated for what it is. Because it's just an average car. And then, yeah, I don't know, because, like, I can't, like, none of the Ford Falcons really fit into the category. I think the AE Falcon's, like, the most unfairly treated car. Well, not car, but at least Australian car, it's the most unfairly treated. because the design's not bad. It's very of the time, but it's not bad. I don't really have any thoughts on the most underrated car.
What is the most overrated car in your opinion?
Overrated car? Simply just go on to r/JDM.
From here. Okay, very important question that I'll dictate our friendship. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what is your honest opinion on Recaro LS-C fishnet seats in orange spectrum?
Alright, let's have a look here. What do they look like? Ooh! I mean, they're not bad. They're definitely very 90s. When are these from? I think they're 90s. They certainly look like it. Yeah, 90s. Like they definitely look very of the time, and they still hold up today. If you put them in anything that isn't from the 90s or older, like if you put this in like an 80s Ferrari, it would fit very well. But like, you can't put it in anything newer, otherwise it would just sort of kill the car. Yeah, overall, I think they look very nice. Definitely, so you asked for a 1 to 10 rating. I'd probably go an 8. Like, they do look very nice. Probably not worth the price though, because goodness me, that's expensive. I could buy an entire car for that much. So price-wise, it gets about a 3, but looks-wise, definitely an 8 out of 10.
What is the best powertrain layout?
Best powertrain configuration/layout? Probably, like, definitely, I think my personal favorite would be front-wheel drive. They're just fun cars to just chuck about without really having to worry. And then to combine with that, it would probably be an inline 4 and inline 3. Just any inline engine always does well with that sort of configuration. Probably not a inline 6, but like a VR6 would be good. Like even a VR5, very good in front-wheel drive. So for the most part, I'd probably say front-wheel drive, inline, or VR engine. But for performance, I mean, Porsche's pretty much got it down pat where it's mid-engine, mid-rear-ish engine, and either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Like, some of the best handling cars. I've never driven one or even been in one. I mean, I have the opportunity to be in what people call a fake Porsche, which is a Porsche Boxster. One of my uncles owns one. But yeah, I'd probably, objectively, performance handling wise, would have to be mid-rear, either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. But just for a fun car to chuck about would probably be inline engine and a inline or VR and also front-wheel drive.
Why do you like Pulsars so much?
Well, that's quite simple. So back in 1995, my parents bought a Nissan Pulsar Solaire, brand new, and then sold it to my grandparents in 1996 when they moved over to the UK. And then it was with them all the way up until like 2015 when we bought it back off of them for like $500. And so my dad used that when he was working down in New South Wales. And then it was brought back up here in like 2018-ish. No, it would have been like 2017-ish. It was brought up here. And then that was used, my dad would use that car whenever he was staying up here. And so whenever I would go out with him, would be driving in that car. So I grew quite attached to that car just because it just was very cool to me to be in a car of that age. And so in like 2017, 2018, it didn't get used enough because it was really only used if my mum needed to drive and my dad also needed to drive at the same time, but to do different places. That's the only time it would really get used. And other than that, it would be for my dad to drive to the airport and back, which ended up, we just decided it was cheaper just to drop him off ourselves. because then we wouldn't have to pay for parking at all. And so, at that time, there was no point in keeping it. At the time, we didn't realize that the Solaire was such a rare model. I mean, even just the generation, that generation as a whole, the M14 generation, just, you don't really see them at all. They all got sent to the scrapyard, just like ours. And yeah, so that's what we did, we scrapped it. But yeah, I would have loved for that to be my first car. Hopefully I can find one eventually. But yeah, that's why I like Nissan Pulsars so much, because just pretty much the nostalgia of it all, really. Round or square headlights on classic cars? Both are good. Like, they definitely have their use cases. Like, I love the boxy nature of 80s cars, so for those sort of cars, definitely square, but like round headlights can look really, really good in a lot of cases, and a lot of times they do. Like with the Mini, it wouldn't be the same if it was designed with square headlights in mind. So yeah, probably if I had to pick one, I don't think I could. Like from a cuteness side of things, it would be circle. But just from a raw coolness side of things, definitely it would be square headlights. So yeah, that's the best answer you're gonna get, pretty much.
Very important question. Dogs or cats?
Both are good. What is your name? What is your quest? And what is your favorite color? This is listed all as one question, but it's 3 questions. So, name, well, obviously, Chromatic Schnitzel. Quest? I don't know. Favorite color? I mean, any of them really. I don't really care. Just color. Usually purple, to be honest.
Gentlemen, a short view back to the past. 30 years ago, Niki Lauda told us, take a monkey, place him into the cockpit, and he is able to drive the car. 30 years later, Sebastian told us, I had to start my car like a computer. It's very complicated. And Nico Rosberg said he pressed during the race, I don't remember what race, the wrong button on the wheel. Question for you two both. Is Formula 1 driving today too complicated with 20 and more buttons on the wheel? Are you too much under effort, under pressure? What are your wishes for the future concerning the technical program during the race? Less buttons, more, or less and more communication with your engineers?
Can I ask you who that question is to? Who do you want to answer it? Who's it to?
No, he said it's
Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you.
and myself.
Sorry.
He didn't listen. Can you repeat the question?
Surprisingly, that wasn't easy to edit. Next question is from Benjamin. He asks,
let's say you can run as fast as Usain, would you represent your country in the Olympics?
I mean, probably, just so that it would be written down in, like, the record books, as that's the fastest a human can go. But, I mean, it's not really something I particularly care about, other than purely a records point of view, to be honest.
Do you like the smell of new cars?
I mean, it's not the sort of thing I would actively go out and seek, but like, it's not a bad smell. It's pretty much like petrol. It's just like, if it's there, like, you'll do like a quick sniff and then it's just like, nice, and then continue with whatever you're doing. But yeah, I guess that's your answer.
If a blinker from your car turned out to be magical and it would fill up with your favorite drink, would you drink from it?
I mean, depends what car it is, because if it's the Coleos, then the drink would instantly become French. So probably not. And then if it's the Holden Captiva, it's a bit dirty. So I mean, I'd probably test it, see if it's good, and then probably yes. but yeah.
Best Porsche 917 livery?
Oh, let's see. Thankfully, I think this is the Porsche website. Can't see it, but this is the official Porsche website. They've got a list of them for me. So we've got this green and white one, Pink Pig. I mean, Pink Pig's cool. It's like my only issue is when people replicate it on other cars. That's my main issue with it. But yeah. Martini liveries. Martini liveries are always good. This is a bit of a blander Martini livery, but it's not a bad one. Iconic Golf livery. It's always a good one. We've got this one. I mean, just for iconically, it's got to be the Golf livery. But, I mean, that's a cool livery, too. So, I mean, probably the most boring of them all is this one. Yeah, probably either the Martini livery or this one as a favourite, and then this one comes in second just because it's the Golf livery. It has to be up there, pretty much as a guarantee.
If you could do anything for a day, what would you do?
Probably drive an F1 car, or do a lap around Monaco in pretty much any sort of car. That would probably be one of the two things I would do. Either one of them, pretty much. There's probably some other things, but for the most part, that would be what I'd do. Either that or just watch the Monaco Grand Prix itself, to be honest, but yeah, that's what it would be.
From Adderworks, what is the best food you've had that A. has been so good that you have it on special occasions only, B. you have it frequently but not too much so you can still savor the taste, or C. you had it only once but still remember the taste?
So I'm going to answer all three parts of this question just because I can, to be honest. So for A, I don't really have one, to be honest. I can't quite think of anything that would quite fit that description either. So for B, again, I can't quite think of one. Like maybe Toblerone? I don't know. And then, yeah. Well, I guess for A, technically, you could say Welsh cakes.
Let's say you are turned into a bolt. Would you rather be a regular bolt or a left-hand threaded bolt?
Probably a left-hand turn one, just because that sounds funny.
Do you ever think about expanding to other non-AutoBeam games?
Very much so. So, when I started YouTube, I did actually do non-Automation Beam content. It's still actually available to watch too. I have unlisted quite a bit of it, but it's available in a playlist I made called Unlisted Content, or something along those lines. And so, I don't want to shy away from those videos because I think it's good to see where I've progressed from. But yeah, so I have done non-AutoBeam content in the past. I did try to do one Spore video, and then I sort of just lost motivation in that. But yeah, so I'd like to do basically just any game that interests me. So I'd like to do a video on like VR games potentially. I don't own any. The only one I own is Beat Saber. So I can't really do a video on that now, can I? But yeah, so I'd like to do VR, but also I'd like to do City Skylines 2 when that comes out. So I do plan on doing a video on that. And potentially I'll do a stream on Forza Motorsport, potentially even before this video is out, but I doubt that. Yeah, so definitely would like to do other games, even non-racing games too, such as, well, of course, City Skylines. But I'd like to potentially do Binding of Isaac as well, like at least just for one video. I don't think I'd be able to make it entertaining, but I do just want to sort of just play it, to be honest. I'll check my Steam library real quick and see what sort of games I could do a video on. Like, I could do Spore, definitely do Gear City. Don't know how I'd do Bloons TD6, but I mean, it's an option, but I doubt it. Payday could be fun, but not really something you can do without doing it with other people. Not that playing with other people's an issue, it's just I've got to find the people to play with, to be honest. I've done Among Us in the past and it was fun, but again, not really anyone to play with. I'd love to do a stream on Euro Truck Simulator 2 or American Truck Simulator even, because I really enjoy playing those games and I think it could be a good idea for a stream. And the issue is, I like to listen to, I wouldn't say mainstream music, I mean it kind of is, but of like 40 years ago. But so I wouldn't be able to do that on YouTube, or at least without, I'd have to have the Spotify not play through OBS, which it sort of defeats the point a bit, because then I won't be able to listen to, well, sorry, then viewers wouldn't be able to listen to music, kind of. There's ways I could do it, but I mean, I could just use Twitch. They don't really care about that sort of thing. But yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely open to suggestions on other games to play. I'm pretty sure my Steam game library is public, so if you see anything in there that you'd be interested in watching, then definitely do let me know in either the comment section down below, or you can tell me on my Discord server, also linked down below.
Collab with Daft Nozzle? Could be with other games though.
I mean, we can do. I mean, that you will be one of the people in Jackbox, as I've just mentioned, so... Yeah, so I re-recorded that last segment, so I didn't actually mention Jackbox, but yes, that is absolutely something else I would love to do a video on. That's definitely going to be a thing, but we could definitely do... Who knows, we can do something, we'll figure something out, I'm sure.
Favorite part of 24 Hours of Beam?
Pretty much the only good thing that came out of 24 Hours of Beam, which was just pretty much just having fun with friends. That's pretty much about it. Like, the rest of the 24 Hours of Beam, it just was awful. Just was not very good. And then Muye's blatant lies that he released in his video as well is just ridiculous. Yeah. I won't get into that unless people want me to, but yeah. Pretty much the only good thing I enjoyed out of it was just hanging out with friends.
A collab with Doom. This could be in other games. This isn't stolen. Not at all.
I'm not really good at initiating things and planning things, hence why I've not really, when it comes to specifically film and server, the only time I have set up a build and race, it's not really gone off at all. It's not happened, no one really did anything for it, because I'm just not that good at sort of initiating the starting process, making sure everyone's actually doing things. So if you want to initiate that, then I'm more than happy to do something.
How did you discover BeamNG in automation?
Marcus Plays. He doesn't upload anymore, which is a bit disappointing, but yeah, this is how I discovered him. Let's see, what videos of his did I watch? Apparently none of them, but like I'm pretty sure it was him. Yeah, so a bit disappointing that he no longer does content. I don't know why, but I'm like 90% sure it was him. After recording this, I did actually click on one of his videos and it was already liked, and I know I hadn't seen it before, so it is definitely him.
Favorite Lada?
Probably the Lada Riva, as that was the first one. That was the first time I've ever heard of Lada. So it's the car I associate with Lada, and other than that, I don't know anything about Lada, so I'd probably have to say the Riva.
Favorite Russian /USSR car?
It's pretty much the same thing as the last one. Don't really know anything about that sort of region of cars. So probably the Lada Riva again, unless the Yugo is technically a USSR car, because I don't remember where Yugoslavia is. But yeah, if not, then it's the Lada Riva.
Thoughts on the Zastava Yugo?
Speaking of the Yugo, apparently, no, I think it's a cool car. Let me just Google a bit about it. Well, I think it's a good-looking car. It doesn't look awful, doesn't look great. It definitely looks like a cheap car of the time. But no, I like the look of them. I think they're pretty neat-looking cars. Definitely a bit goofy, at least this 2002 to 2009 one I'm looking at right now. But yeah, no, I think they're cool little cars, and if I lived in Europe, I'd probably see how much they were and consider buying one, but sadly, I am a mere Australian who is unable to get European cars.
What is a normal car you think is criminally underrated and why? For example, I'll say the 02 to 07 Volvo XC70, as they're basically all-wheel drive tank wagons that can do anything you ever need.
I don't really have a example to give. I mean, like with the example you've given, the 2002 to 2007 Volvo XC70, saying they're basically all-wheel drive tank wagons, pretty much it would be the same, like I would say the same thing about the, specifically after 2016 Holden Captivas. Those things, I mean, they look quite literally a tank. They're like 2 tons, awful turning circle when at low speed, like car park speed, so you can't really park very well in them. But they have, specifically the top of the range models have its auto-leveling suspension, which makes it actually quite good in corners, just due to the way the system works. So from that point of view, probably that sort of car would say the 2016 to 2018 Holden Captiva. But yeah, can't really think of any car other than that. Like the N14 Pulsars, the hatchback ones of those, which was more of a liftback actually. You can fit 2 bicycles in the boot, which is quite good. So, like, it's definitely very versatile from that point of view. So, I would probably say, for the most part, definitely the Holden Captiva. It does have its downsides, so I'd probably get a diesel one, not a petrol one, just because, especially, it's got the 2 less cylinders. But they're quite expensive, like it's not really worth it, but they're definitely quite versatile. But the N14 Pulsar is definitely a good shout for that as well.
If you had the chance to design, build and sell your very own car in real life, what would it be like? Also, congrats on 250 subs, Chromatic.
First of all, thank you. And that is an excellent question, because I don't know the answer. Like, I'd probably build a 1.6 litre inline 4 front-wheel drive car. So pretty much, I'd build a modern Nissan Pulsar from the N14 generation. Make it modern, but not in the bad way. It would still have the same sort of lift-back design. I would probably make a ute and wagon version of it as well as obviously the usual sedan model, and maybe a GTR model as well, where it's 2-door, like the Skyline, so it would have pretty much would just slap the SR20 DET in there, but a modern version of it, and that would be the GTR model, and it would have both the hatchback like the GTIR, but also it would have a 2-door coupe version, similar to a Skyline, but more in terms of a Nissan NX. That's probably what I would do. Yeah. So this is a surprise extra one. It wasn't asked within the submission time frame, but because over the past week, as of the day I'm recording this, I've had an ear infection. So one of the questions was asked, well, this question was asked by Benjamin. How did you end up on the other side of the planet from Wales to Australia? And, well, the answer's a long one, so it's at the very end, because also it was the last question asked. These have been in chronological order, for the most part anyway. So, yeah, in 1996, as I mentioned earlier in this video, my parents moved from Australia to the UK, and lived there up until 2008. I was born in 2006. So I lived in Wales until October of 2008 when we were forced, well, not we weren't forced necessarily, but we moved back to Australia, or well, it was moved to Australia because of the global financial crisis, or as Americans call it, the Great Recession. I don't know why that country decides that they call it something else, but whatever. So we, in the UK, due to the global financial crisis, we lost pretty much everything, like, kind of. We lost the house that we were living in, so, thankfully, one of my grandparents paid for us to come back to Australia and live in a rental house for a bit, so they paid, for the rent on that for a certain amount of time, and then my dad was able to get a job in Australia, as he's a civil traffic engineer, so it's not the hardest to get a job, but it does usually take time. So thankfully, Australia was one of the fastest countries to recover from the GFC. So yeah, he got a job, and that job included housing. So we lived in an apartment in the city for a while, and then after a while I believe he changed job, and so we rented a house. We went through 2 rental houses before getting to the house we currently live in. And so in 2012, he got made redundant due to cutting of funding to the Bruce Highway upgrade, which he was working on. So he was made redundant, and so for 6 months he didn't have a job, but then, of course, being a civil traffic engineer, he was able to get one, and then... But it was down in New South Wales, so he wasn't really home from 2012 till pretty much 2020, so he went in between jobs that were all down in New South Wales, and then he eventually, when COVID happened, he came back up here because it's just not possible to fly down there, and it's a job that can be done from home, so he was working from home up here in Queensland, and then he got let off because he was too expensive to keep for the company he was working for, and so he was without a job for yet another 6 months, until he finally got a job with Redacted Council, and he still works there today. So that's the story of why I'm in Australia from all the way in Wales, and basically what's happened, major events that have happened since moving to Australia. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this Q&A, and I hope that I have answered the questions that you all have asked on my Discord server, link in the description down below. I hope I have answered the questions you asked the way that you wanted them to be answered, as in, like, I've interpreted the question properly. If I wasn't sure about a question, I did ask for people to clarify them, but it didn't happen often, so I do hope that I haven't misunderstood a question. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for allowing me to reach 250 subscribers. Here's hoping for 500 at some point. Who knows when? Apparently the next milestone is 276, aka the Gentleman's Agreement. And I'm slowly catching up to K-Cool Turbo. Yay. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and have a good night.